Today what I'm going to be doing is giving you some random tips, in fact a bunch of tips of good habits that I would like you to incorporate into your speeches in the future. Today we had a very interesting experiment. In fact, we had a speech given by Victoire, but that she did not write. And I knew that this was the case. In fact, do you remember 2 weeks ago I said, hey David, why don't you write her speech for her? Because in the real world, in the business world, just imagine you are suddenly incredibly famous. Or if you are incredibly rich, or just incredibly busy. You may be in a situation where you will have to have someone write your speech for you. You could have a personal assistant write your speech for you. Or if you're a real big shot, you could have your own personal speechwriter. Presidents have their own personal speechwriters. You can earn big bucks, in fact, being a speechwriter. And it's actually quite a fascinating job to have, to be the person who writes speeches for the important people, the movers and shakers of the world. So have a think about that possibility if you happen to be very good speechwriters. Have a think about considering going into that field. Or if you feel that you are really good at giving other people's speeches, that is an important skill. The reason is because you could be in a situation where you are attending a conference, for instance, a technology conference, and you are with your colleague. You've decided that you're going to be in the room to assist with your colleague, and unfortunately your colleague calls you at the last minute and says, I'm sick, I can't come, I have a horrible stomach flu, my head's in the toilet, you do the speech. But you've never done it before. And he says, I've emailed you my slides, and you have 5 minutes to prepare. It happens, and I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen at numerous conferences. And so always be on your toes, always be ready to give someone else a speech. You never know when that might happen. Some good habits that I would like you to try to start to incorporate into your speeches. This may sound really neurotic, but I would like you guys to start to consider using note cards that are the same color as your clothes. Just try it, see what happens. It may change the way you feel as a speaker. It could have that tiny little psychological oomph that you need to make yourself feel really confident up here, because it's really nerve-wracking. It can be a terrifying experience. So the people who are going to be our speakers next time, what I'd like to maybe see is those note cards that are the same color. And if you use note cards that white, you're going to have to wear a white shirt. Or if you've got a black shirt, then you need to find some black paper and then maybe paste your notes onto that paper. Give that a shot. Give it a try. It's actually really impressive, and the audience likes that too. I want to compliment the evaluator of Simon's, I think it was Julio?
Francisco.
Ah, yes, Francisco, thank you so much. Your evaluation of Simon was right on target. He's absolutely right. You did sit here, which, to be honest with you, is not a bad thing. It's okay to sit, but it needs to be calculated. You need to go through your speech, look at it. When you've prepared it, you can write it in full in advance, or you can do what you did. I liked your use of notes. Very, very minimal notes. It was good. But in your speech, I want you to plan in advance where you're going to change your posture. Professional speakers do this all the time. And changing your posture is an excellent way to keep people's attention. So for example, you can choose at a certain moment just to sit here, which will bring you, in fact, closer to the audience. It will also help your breathing pattern because it will change your body, and it could help eliminate some of the shaky leg syndrome that you may be suffering from if you're incredibly nervous. Or I know some speakers, men in particular, but I've never seen a woman do this, but men in particular, in the middle of their speech, will just take off their jacket, put it on the chair, and then they'll really talk to you. Try that. That might be fun. And you can see what it's done. It's changed your perspective of the speaker. And again, it has renewed our attention span on what you may be saying. Simple things like that. Sitting on the table, that's fine. But make sure it's 100% calculated. I want to give a little bit of feedback to Tiago. You did a great speech. You were voted for best speaker today. But I want to be really picky with you, because after you finished speaking, you were so excited, you took your computer and you were like, yay, I'm cool, I feel great. But you didn't put the screen back up. And the next speaker was Victoire, and as wonderful as her speech was, that screen went from white to blue to blinking blue to nothing during her speech, which is a bit of a shame because it's distracting. So be a good, have good habits as a speaker. Don't forget to clean the space. Unless you check with Victoire if she needed the screen, check with that before you go on. And my last piece of advice is for those of you who are in charge of giving introductions, don't be afraid to give a compliment to the person who is about to come up. I want to compliment Valentin on his ability to recap. You have this wonderful skill of giving positive feedback, and you also are very good at recapping the speeches that we heard today. I want to push you just a little bit further today, and I want you to don't forget to say something really nice before they come up on stage. You're great at when they're finished speaking, but now I want you to also incorporate a lovely compliment. It doesn't matter what it is. It can be something, they look lovely today. I passed Francisco in the hall today, and he had this great smile on his face, so I'm wondering, he must be in a really excellent mood today. Or, I think that Isabella looks absolutely lovely today, and I'm really looking forward to what she has to say. You started to, you said this person, that Husna is a, it was when Tiago was setting up, when the speaker is setting up their talk. That's a minute, that's 60 seconds of silence that you need to fill as the person who's in charge of introducing that speaker. So do try to find something. Sometimes it requires some preparation in advance, and sometimes it requires pulling out crazy ideas from your head at the last minute. So give that a shot next time.